Okay, guys, next up to chat about BravoCon, I've got my friend Gibson Johns gabbing with Gib.
How are
Gibson,
you?
Gibson,
How
you
are
were
you?
all over BravoCon.
Yeah, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off for 4 straight days.
Everywhere I look, there's Gibson, there's Gibson, there's Gibson. He's sunglasses, he's not sunglasses. He's with Jake from State Farm. He's with the housewives. He's everywhere. You were everywhere.
You know what? I'm doing too much because everyone else is doing too little, I guess, to quote Phaedra Parks. No, it was quite the weekend. I had a great time, and like I loved seeing you. I feel like I saw you everywhere I went too. I feel like
I
we
know.
we ran into each other at least like three, 4, 5 times, like which is great. Which is
Yes.
more than I can say about a lot of people who I also wanted to see. But just it's funny how like certain people I feel like you get on the same sort of track as them for the weekend,
Yeah.
and some people like you just completely miss all weekend.
Yeah. True. That's totally true. I I loved seeing you so much, and you were like State Farm partner. You were in there with Jake from State Farm. I just was
Mhm.
dying. Now, how was Jake from State Farm? Because as much as I've seen him, I've never met him.
He was a great guy. His real name is Kevin. He's an actor named Kevin, but he's,
Okay.
Jake from State Farm is his defining role. And
Mhm.
it's funny because like you're in that activation when you're doing stuff with them. And like he himself, I just didn't realize how much of an attraction he was. Like people were like dying to see him and taking particularly I think a lot of like husbands and boyfriends who were there. Like I think that
Uh-huh.
they were excited to see him. I think the other funny part is that like Craig was like one of their big collaborators for the weekend, and whenever
Yeah.
he was there, I mean, I think just if you're at BravoCon, he might be the biggest attraction in terms of a singular person. Like people go crazy for Craig, and it's been the same at every BravoCon in that regard for me. Did you ever see people respond to him sort of out on the floor?
No, Craig is one of those ones that 2 years ago I
Okay,
saw everywhere I went, and this year I never actually
so funny.
physically laid eyes on him other than the Southern Charm panel.
Yeah, like I saw him like 3 or 4 times out in the wild, and like there would be like hundreds of people. And I think it's one of those things where it's like people like really like him, I think, but also they have a crush on him, and
Mhm.
he's single
Yeah.
now, and it's sort of like
Mhm.
that's kind of part of the appeal as well.
Yeah, he's very, very attractive.
He looked
Um,
great this weekend.
he looked great. He did. And I
He
gotta
did.
say, that Southern Charm panel, I didn't go to tons of panels, but I did go to that one. And you could tell that there is really like bad feelings between Austin and Craig.
Totally. Like when they really addressed that topic in particular, they waited a beat, and that beat felt like it was 5 minutes long, before they really I think Austin was the one who was like, well, he like took a big breath before he like answered, it felt like. Yeah, I thought that the Southern Charm panel, to me, what it reflected was like how disjointed the cast still is. Like it just feels
Mm,
like I do like a lot of those people individually, but just it's not a very cohesive group right now. It doesn't feel like.
mhm. Yeah.
Um, like you have your central four, which are like the three guys and Madison, and
Yep.
then there's sort of like then there's Vanita, and then there's sort of like another level of like Sally, Rodrigo, Molly, who again are all
Yes.
great, but like it doesn't feel like they're a friend group to me. And I think
Right.
that was
Yeah.
reflected in the panel.
I think that's true, and then, they had Patricia on the end, and I was like, "We could
Right.
always use more Patricia," but they weren't, like, throwing enough questions to her, I felt.
And I don't need Whitney. I was whenever he spoke on this panel, I was like, please just like I know you're a producer on the show, but like take yourself out of the on camera role. Like we just don't need him there.
He is comedic relief in that he is, like, such a dork. Do you know what I mean? To me, that
Yeah.
he's such a try-hard, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not cute anymore to
Yeah.
be, like,
I
60 and talk about how maybe you'll marry a
yeah.
23-year-old, you know? Yeah.
Oh my God. I think what frustrates me is that he is able to like hop in and be funny or dramatic or whatever he wants to be for like an episode or two, and then he gets to skip the reunion and never answer for his behavior. You know what I mean? Because he's a
True.
producer, and that's
True.
what I think is unfair.
True. That's a great point. Um, yeah, and of course that, as it wouldn't be BravoCon without a viral video of Shep being
Oh
drunk
my
and
God.
spouting his mouth off.
Hmm. Why is he so obsessed with Paige? He also brought her up on the Walk Drop Inside taping that I went to that has not aired yet.
Okay.
Um, he's
What
given
did
a
what did
Mary Shag kill of Craig's exes, and he kills Paige, and he's like, I could never be Team Paige, blah, blah, blah. On the Summer House side is like, well, we're Team Paige, obviously. But it's like, he just like, he's like really stuck on her. And it's
Mhm.
like more so than Craig is. And it's a little
Yeah,
weird to me.
that happens sometimes. That does uh, that happens sometimes, I think, especially that you're saying it now, like, where somebody will break up and then their friend gets really stuck on it. You're like, "I'm over
Right.
it. You should be over it too."
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Interesting. Shep. I don't know. He's got a lot of anger in his heart.
Yeah. And it's like just right when you like think that he maybe is like on the right track or has changed or whatever, it's like,
Mm-mm.
no, I don't know. A zebra never changes their stripes. So
I think that's right. But, God bless for him for saying he's gonna try.
listen,
And,
he is
yeah.
entertainment, you know.
He's Jack's light is what he is.
He's Southern Jack's Light. Exactly.
That's
Mhm.
right. He's Jack's light because he's not quite, abusive cokehead level, but just maybe
And I
loud
think
cokehead.
Shep has he has some intellect in him. He
Oh,
has moments
totally.
like he's a smart guy and he has moments where he really shows that and you
Mhm.
wish he could do it more, but you know, he he can't control himself.
No, he can't. That was interesting. I also went to the Valley panel, and I went
I
to
wasn't at
Ben.
that one.
Yeah, okay, that was the first one, and I, went to that one, and it was really good, and later throughout the weekend, I met Jesse, Danny, Michelle. Those were the 3 that I met. I found Michelle
Mhm.
to be delightful.
I've never met Michelle, but I'm more on Michelle's side of things than the Jesse side of things on the show.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so I didn't get to meet her. I think the only Valley people that I met were Janet and Jason on the red carpet.
How were they? They were good?
Yeah. Listen, I don't have an affinity for Janet, but I have a connection to her because we did an interview that again played into the show. Remember last
Mhm.
season? It was at the top of the season, and we had never met before in person, and so it was kind of this funny moment where like she was kind of coming down the line with Jason on his crutches, and I was like, Janet, we caused some drama, didn't we? And she would. I think one she looked fucking amazing, and
Mhm.
I think that my impression from her over the weekend is that like she's kind of at the point where I think she knows that a lot of the fans like don't really like her that much.
Yeah.
But she knows that she's a pretty good villain for the show. So I think that
Yeah.
she seems to be kind of leaning into that in a way. Like her and Tamara posted a picture together, like we'll be your villains. That's what I think at this point I kind of want from her. I think if
Yeah.
that's the role she has found herself in and she's willing to do it, just lean in, you know?
Yeah, I think, like Stassi before her, just lean in. But I will say that somebody did get up at the panel and say, everybody seems to have a redemption season, and is yours coming, Janet? And she goes, "No, I think if you didn't like me before, you're not going to like me now. So no." And
Yeah,
I was like, "All right, let's be honest."
and I think that I think that in real life she is not. I would not consider to be the villain. I don't think she's actually really like that. But like within the context of the show and being a Kristen adversary, I
Yeah,
think she's willing to play that role, and the audience is kind of always going to be on Kristen's side, at least for right now.
at least for right now, right? Just
Yeah,
because she
yeah.
is
There's a lot to root
familiar.
for there. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Vanderpump, I did not watch the trailer, nor did I watch the screener that I got. Have you watched either the trailer or the screener?
I've watched the trailer, not the screener yet. The screener came the day after BravoCon for me.
Mhm.
Um, I had a State Farm thing during when they screened it at BravoCon, but I heard they didn't play the full episode. I heard it was like only part of it or something.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna give it a chance, just like I did with a couple other shows that I wasn't excited for, but ended up being
Mhm.
good, like Next Gen, like The Valley, like Southern Hospitality.
Yeah.
So I have an open heart with it, but I think that it's going to take a lot more to convince me that this group and this new kind of reboot has what it takes to stack up.
Yeah.
I know there's a big OnlyFans storyline with one of them. That's all I sort of know about it. But
Oh, it's a guy. Yeah, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's a guy. Okay.
I
Well,
know.
alright. I just feel like I think Mandy or somebody said, like, it would have been great if they would have named it, like, Second Shift or just something, to sort of differentiate it, but I was like, they did the same to Roni. They just keep the same name.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah,
didn't s
it's sort of like with Roni, it's like when they did the reboot, it was season, what, like 13 or 14, whatever it was, and it's like,
Yeah.
it should have been in season 1. Just like, I agree. It's a second shift would have been amazing. Vanderpump Rules second shift, like perfect.
Yeah.
Just like, Love Island Beyond the Villa. You just add that sort of extra couple words and it does make it a different show,
Yes.
even if it's the same premise.
I will tell you that, I ran into, Zachary Reality. It's just like, like everybody's handle, like I never know their actual name.
Right, right.
Zachary Reality. And he was going to the Next Gen panel, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just like, I don't really watch the show, but I'm going, 'cause Ben and Ronnie are hosting it." And he said, "I'm waiting to get a text because Taylor Frankie Paul is in Vegas shooting for The Bachelorette, a date, and I'm waiting for the producer to tell me because I'm gonna go to do, like, an interview." I was like, "Well, that sounds more exciting."
Yeah, he's in on the Bachelor world, so
Mhm.
I hope he went and did that. I'm actually really excited for Taylor Frankie Paul and the Bachelorette. As a side note,
I am too. I watched all of Mormon Wives while I was at BravoCon because at night you go to your room and I'm
oh
like,
my god, oh my god, I'm jealous you watched it. I was like, in my mind, I was like, I am consciously just like putting that to next week, to this week. Like I
"Okay,
just
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah."
I couldn't go down that road because I love that show, but it needs my full attention. So I have not watched it yet.
It was a very good season, and now I'm
Okay.
sad that it's over because I watched all of it in 3 days, you know?
Oh my god, jealous.
And I
Ah.
know I'm sad that I did that to myself. So if you have any recommendations of shows, I'm looking for another long one to watch. But I gotta tell you, okay, so give me at BravoCon, like, your best because you were interviewing people on the carpet.
Mhm.
So tell me what was, like, your best one, your most surprising one?
So I'm working on editing all like I basically had like a bunch of like 2 to 3 minute interviews. Like they're
Mhm.
pretty quick, because they're doing
Yeah,
like so many outlets
yeah,
in like an hour. Um, but I got some really great people. I got Andy, which was really great to get, and he,
yeah.
is familiar with me at this point, so which was it's a nice feeling, I would say. But he was really generous with his time. Um, who else did I love to get some time with? I got Lisa and Adriana from Miami. I wish I had gotten them after their panel because their panel was like so chaotic and I think not a good way, all because of Adriana doing that stunt she did. And I would have
She's so
loved to hear
annoying.
from her. I would
Yes.
have loved to hear from her an explanation from her about that. Um, so that was that. Who else was great on the red carpet? Um, Drew Sidora was really generous with her time, and I find her place in Atlanta to be really interesting because she's sort of like in the middle there, but I think she's kind of constantly being hazed almost. She's kind of like she hasn't gotten the respect I think that she
She's like the
wants.
Brittany Bateman of Atlanta. Yeah.
In a way, I think she hasn't like earned her stripes in some way still, even though she's been on for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
who
right,
else
right.
did I chat with? I need to like literally look at my Instagram. Like I feel like I'm slowly regaining my brain cells,
Yes, yes, I just had to
Like,
I sent 114 pictures to my social media girl,
oh
and
my God.
it took me an hour to get it down to that, just because so many of them were, like, the same exact picture, but in, like,
Right, right,
4
right.
different poses, I was like,
Totally.
I gotta get the best ones," and I was like, "Oh,"
Oh,
and
you
then
know what? Who
I forgot.
it's rare to get some time with Beverly Hills people in general, and I
Yeah?
got Erica and Bose together on the red carpet, which was good. And literally, I don't think I could tell you really what we talked about in any of these instances because it's so like go, go,
Blur.
go.
Yeah,
I probably did like 12 of these in an hour, and it's just
yeah,
like, I kind of black out. Dolores had been really uh kind ahead of BravoCon because I hosted a panel at the first BravoCon with her and Teresa, and she was like, you know what, like I remember that, and like I'll always like kind of appreciate, you being my first BravoCon interview, and it was she's I remember what I talked about with her because I think you're on the press line, you sort of witness which people kind of respect the media's role and like want to go
yeah,
down the whole line and not skip anybody. And she is
mhm,
like one of those top people who does that. And she really understands the game. And she understands that like without the fans and without the media and without the creators and podcasters and stuff, like they wouldn't have nearly as much, I think
yeah,
that
right.
she's always had that appreciation, which I really, it feels good, it feels good to have that recognized. Um, I was on the last day there was like a creators red carpet, so it wasn't press. It was like TikTok people, and I
Yeah.
wasn't on there, but I went into the room because I had a press pass. And Chanel Ayana was in there, who was doing her social media correspondence for Bravo TV, and
Yeah.
she did an interview with me, and it was like she interviewed me, and I was like,
How'd you like
it was a
it?
chaotic 5 minutes of my time. Let me just tell you, and we
Mm.
know each other well, but it was like, if they ever post that, I don't know what will make it in because it was all over the place in a good way.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to ask you, how do I get into that creators? I would love to just like have like a 2 minutes to be able to do that, but it's like I don't know how to
Yeah,
do it,
I wasn't included in that. I was just able to go into the room because I had my press pass from the previous 2 days. So
Yeah.
I wasn't invited as part of the creator panel, press line, but
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to get invited.
mhm.
Well, I gotta tell you, seeing you all over the place, living your best life. Okay, so tell me, okay, so we were together at Margaret Joseph's soiree party. I think that party got like super fun after we left.
It did. Yeah, we went to Watch What Happens Live, but
Yeah,
but I don't regret going to Watch What Happens Live either.
me either.
Like I really enjoyed those tapings. But yeah, I think a lot of people showed up sort of as we were leaving or right after we left.
And then the other party where I saw you, I mean, I saw you all over the place. I saw you at Ben and Ronnie's
Yes.
listener meetup because we had our listener meetup earlier before Amy Phillips' show. And so then I actually like looked decent. So I went out, but you know me, I wanted to go to bed. I wanted to get back in my bed with Mormon wives, but I was
You had
told
to
no.
you had to show off that glam, Mary Payne. Come on. You had to
I was
show
like,
off that glam. You were looking fab.
I got my makeup done. I guess I'll go and take some pictures. Now, did you stay at that party late?
I stayed at that for a little longer than you. I talked to Ryan Bailey for a while.
Yeah.
And I also there's a couple people who listened to Gabbing with Gib who introduced themselves to me, so I talked to them for a bit. And then I was like, you know what? I hadn't gone out. I'd gone to the Watch What Happens Live tapings the previous 2 nights, and I'd been a
Yeah.
good boy and gone back to my hotel to get some
Uh-huh.
sleep. Some. And that I was like, I was giving myself the green light to go out that night. So I
Okay.
met up
Saturday
with
night.
yes. So I took an Uber to Pirano, which is a gay club,
Uh-huh.
and Corey, who helps manage Meredith Marks and her DJing stuff,
Uh-huh.
he had a table there. And so it was like me, him, and then a bunch of producers of the shows at a table. We weren't really talking about Bravo stuff. It was kind of like a, let's let off some steam kind of vibe. But like, it's so funny because all these gay men who produce a lot of the shows, at this in the same place. It
Yeah.
was kind of funny.
Was
At
Chris
one point,
there? DeRosa?
Chris showed up. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Kate Chastain showed up.
Okay.
Ashley Darby showed up after 1
Okay.
a.m.
Uh-huh.
And she got greeted by like a go-go dancer with a tequila bottle.
Uh-uh.
Um, and yeah, it's a little bit blurry, but that was what I did later that night.
But you were there on Sunday,
Uh,
professional as always.
you know what? Getting up that morning, having to pack my bags to check out because checkout was at 11.
Uh-huh.
But Ask Andy was at 10:15. I had to record my podcast before that. That was a rough couple hours.
It was
I will
rough.
say.
That
Yeah, that
was
was
rough.
rough. But we know what? We pushed through. We're fighters, and
So you left Sunday night.
I had a red eye Sunday night, and
Oh,
the next gen cast was on my flight. Um,
how was
all of
that?
them except for Georgia.
Mhm.
They all had drinks before the flight at the bar across from the
Yeah.
gate. And then I also saw Dr. Jackie and Heavenly
Uh-huh.
waiting. Atlanta, a flight to Atlanta was boarding next to ours. And
Okay.
I don't think it's the flight that Portia was on. It must have been
Mhm.
a different one because I mean I didn't see her, and I feel like
You would have seen
I
her.
don't know, yeah. But yeah, those are my airport sightings on the
Um,
way out.
well, on the way there, well, I told you I was on the JSX with Ludacris and Richard Marks and Daisy
So
Fuentes.
funny, so
Um,
funny.
but on the way home, we had Tia from Potomac was
Oh, nice.
right
I
by
love her.
me, and I didn't ever, lots of people stopped on the way down. I'm like, "Did you have a nice night?" And she was super friendly to
Oh, good.
everyone. And then when we were at baggage claim, I was like, "All right, I'm gonna do it. Like one last shot at DCA before and
Yeah.
I just went up, gave her our poker chip and was like, I sat next to you on the plane. I didn't want to bother you. I just wanted to tell you, we're local, cover the show. If you ever want a friendly podcast to come on, like unless you're Dr. Wendy, we're or Karen, unless you're a felon or a soon-to-be felon, we're going to be really nice. And we love Ashley. You know, we chatted for a second. And
Was
Ingrid
she
runs
nice?
up to her, super nice.
Okay, good.
Ingrid runs up to her and goes, "Where do you live?" Like, not hello, I'm the producer, anything.
Ingrid.
Ingrid just runs up and goes, "Where do you live?" And she
Cut to
goes,
the
"Huh?"
chase.
And I said, "Oh, well, this is my producer, Ingrid. Nice to," and Ingrid goes, "I'm sorry. I just came in hot." And Tia goes, "I didn't know. Like, are you ice or something? Like, what are you doing?"
So funny. I'm
Hilarious.
dead. I'm dead.
Ingrid was asking her because Ingrid goes to the gym with Ashley, and she was gonna ask Tia, "Do you go to the same gym? You know, do you ever go to the gym with Ashley? Because I'll see you there,"
Got
that
it.
kind of thing. But she just came in hot, and the funny Tia saying, "I didn't know if you were ice." Hilarious.
That is
Um,
really funny.
but I was like, "Okay, don't mind her if you wanna come on my podcast sometime." But that was it. But the Portia thing in one of the BravoCon Facebook groups, I saw somebody say they were on that flight and that Portia and these other people were in first, and this person was in Delta Comfort, 1 row back, so they were right there, they could see the whole thing. And they said that, apparently it was a woman on the flight that was, like, verbally assaulting Portia, who was just saying stuff back, and it wasn't a housewife, and that the other woman was the one that was in trouble, and Portia was just questioned because she was the one being verbally assaulted.
That's ridiculous. I mean,
I'm dying to know why? Was it just like a fan or what was it? Weird.
yeah, it's like I mean, it could be so many things, right? It's like it could be a
Yeah.
fan. It could be a fan who doesn't like her. It could be a fan of one of her adversaries on the show. It could be somebody who just like thought that Portia was getting special treatment. You know what I mean? She's a
Uh-huh,
star. I don't know.
yeah.
It could be a million things. Could
It
just
could
be
be
like
a
a
million
drunk.
things.
I mean, you're leaving Vegas on a Sunday. Like somebody also could be just drunk and an idiot, you know,
And
and
be
just
like, "You
saying
knocked my seat," or something.
totally like There's so many things. So I hope that eventually Portia comes out, or maybe Portia will go and watch Happens Live or something, and
Yes.
tell us the story.
We always leave it to Watch What Happens Live to get the scoop.
Always, always.
Um, that's somebody else was that I've been talking to people all day about this, and somebody else said, "Hopefully, so and so will go and watch What Happens Live and explain it." It was about Madison, something
Oh,
she
I mean, I
said.
hope that Madison explains exactly why Sai was a mean girl to her,
That's what it is.
personally. Yeah, it's
That's what it is.
because Madison was on Access Hollywood or something. I saw a clip, and she was like, you know, Sai messed with the wrong girl, basically. But nobody's asked her from what I've seen so far, like, what did Sai do to you that night
What did
when
she
you sat
say
next to each other?
specifically?
Yeah, exactly. That made you think that she's the meanest person in the world. Because I believe Madison. I don't think she's randomly gonna like target Sai as like being the meanest girl in the world. Like I believe she had a
No.
bad experience with her, and Sai has doubled down on her stance on it, which is like wild because she was initially accusing Madison of confusing her with somebody else and essentially being racist because of that.
Mm,
But
mhm.
Madison was not confusing her with somebody else, and so I think it's ridiculous that Sai hasn't walked that part back.
Right,
But
right,
she's kind of doubling down. So I think it's a bad look for Sai. But I guess Madison did make the first public swing, but Sai clearly
right.
had made a private swing at her. So
But
I
we
don't
don't
know.
know what. We don't know
No, we
what.
don't know what. We don't know what. No.
We love a good BravoCon drama. I love the rumor going around that Sheena had, punched a Southern Charm cast member backstage. That was a great
I mean,
rumor.
I'm like a little, yes, I'm like a little over like the constant just like fake rumors about Sheena though. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm a little like exhausted by that. Like
It's like, first of
she's
all,
just all
Sheena's not even she's not even
you
on our
like you
TV.
go to you go to her comments on Instagram and it's like people will like celebrate the fact that like some other former person like Carol or Camille were there. Like it's like, oh my God, great. Like a former star is like back and like celebrated at BravoCon. Sheena's there and the comments are like, wow, you're so desperate you showed up to BravoCon, you're not on the show anymore. And it's like I'm kind of like just like over that like fan narrative about her. I understand completely like why it's there, but I'm like, ugh, I'm just a
But, I
little
mean,
exhausted by
she
it.
was invited and paid just like everybody else. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
exactly. But
Yeah.
she'll do very similar thing to somebody else, and just it's like it's like taken in the complete. I think it just shows that she should take some time away and like really back off like for a little bit and really kind of like give some people some like breathing room with her. I think that's part of the problem. Like she just
Yeah.
has never really stopped.
Yeah.
Um, So
But
I don't
again,
know,
you know,
but
you got mouths to feed.
I know,
Um,
totally.
why do you think Carol was there? Carol Radswell.
I almost wonder if it was just sort of like her and Andy had made up recently, and maybe he like, as a show of good faith, to like really show that like he means that like he does want to be on a good path with her, you know?
Mhm.
Because I feel like with Andy, it could, if you're on the receiving end of that, maybe it could feel like, oh, he's just doing this to like kind of, make his side of the fence clean or whatever,
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I feel like maybe he was just like, why don't you come to the 20th anniversary taping? Like you were a big part of Roni for a while. It
Yeah,
was kind of random that she was there, I would say. Like, she sticks out in like a group of Luann, Dorinda, Sonia, and
Sonia.
her,
Yeah.
but I love that she was there. I think that she
Oh,
had
me
fun.
too.
She had
I
fun, but
love Carol.
it definitely was kind of random for sure.
Um, okay, I've now asked 3 people this and nobody knows the answer, so maybe you know the answer.
Okay.
They announced Ultimate Girls Trip road trip, and they said it's
Yeah.
gonna start in the OC and stop at every place. Okay, what does it mean? Are we starting in the OC with Vicky and Tamara, and then we're gonna go
Yeah,
and
I don't
stop
know.
in
They
Potomac and
haven't
pick up
provided
2 people, and
they have
then
not provided any details. There's rumors on who is on the cast.
uh-huh.
Have you seen these rumors?
No, and I
Okay,
don't understand
I
if they're
can pull them
starting
up. I
if
can
they're
pull them
starting
up.
here and ending here, and, if they're
Okay.
starting in the OC and going
According
across.
according to Mary Cosby's fan page on Twitter, which sounds
Okay,
ridiculous, but they actually randomly like post tea a lot. Like they'll have like they have some inside source with information because they will.
maybe it's cousin Joe.
I don't know who it is,
It's
but
cousin Joe.
they tweeted out alleged Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip details. Allegedly, Vicky Gunvalson and Teresa are confirmed to be on the cast, while Nene, Kyle, Giselle, Kim Zolciak, and Karen Huger have been approached to be on the cast. Luann is
Nene?
that this is what this person has said, that they've been approached. And
Okay,
Nene was on Carlos King's podcast yesterday. I saw some clip, and she was like, "I'd be open to the opportunity." And Andy did say they texted recently, so I don't. People think that was kind of an Easter egg or like a little bit of a breadcrumb. I mean, and maybe it's always going to be wishful thinking with Nene until it's actually something actually happens, But
agree,
I
agree,
do
yeah.
kind of feel like that has really simmered. The temperature has gone down there a lot in that situation.
Mhm.
Um, and like, there's like he doesn't even say Bethany's name anymore. They like nobody asked about Kenya. Nobody talked about Kenya this weekend. Like
I
Nene's
know.
name was mentioned, so does that give you hope? I don't know. Maybe it's false hope,
Does.
but
It does give
it'd
me a
be
little
it,
hope.
it would be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool to see her on that.
But that's a huge cast. So my question is, do you know if they're gonna, like,
I have no
have
idea.
3 people, pick up 2 people, go a
No
little bit,
idea.
drop 1 person? Do you know what I mean? So the cast is sort of rotating.
Yeah, I really have no clue how it's gonna work. Only a certain amount of
Oh,
fit in an RV, so
Gibson, I
we'll
was
see.
hoping you knew the answer.
I don't know the answer. I'm sorry.
Dang it. And then he also said about New York, he said, "It is cast and they are starting to film."
They
And
haven't
that's all
started
he said.
filming. They're
They
going to
haven't
start filming.
started. Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's a pretty safe assumption that Cy, Aaron, and Jessel will be on that, considering they were
Right.
at BravoCon. Yeah.
Right.
And Brian
Right.
Moylan put out his newsletter about BravoCon yesterday, and he said that he's heard it's them 3 and 3 other people,
But
3
3
new people.
newbies. 3
Yeah.
newbies.
Mhm.
God, I mean, could we throw Carol in? Could we just throw
No,
Carol
I don't
in?
think they'll do that. I think that
Me
I
either.
think that New Romany is one of those things that the network and Andy are just a little bit stubborn about, in terms of like wanting to make it work and wanting to show that like they were not wrong to do so.
Right. Even though
Um,
the people are shouting
yeah,
for
I mean, of course, like I'm one
yeah.
of those people, but I just
Yeah.
realistically I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah,
All right.
but
Well,
she
I
would
was
work.
hoping
Yeah,
she would work
yeah, totally.
because she's sort of, the right kind of fancy that they are, I think, you know?
I completely agree, and I think that she lives a similar life. Like, and I think that she's actually friends with Aaron, and like
Yeah.
there's a lot of reason. I also don't think she would want to do it, to be honest. I don't think she'd want to do it
But I don't think she
personally.
wants to be on a show with Luann and Sonia either.
I don't think she would be on that show. I don't even know if
Yeah.
she's. I don't think she'd do that road trip show. I don't think Carol wants to be on reality TV. I think this was an opportunity for her to show some good faith to the Bravo audience. She's really excited about this Substack that she launched recently. That's like paywalled everywhere you look, and so I think she sees that as a way to promote that almost, and like that's kind of it.
Okay.
I really don't think she wants to be on reality TV anymore. That's sort of my
Is her
impression.
Substack writing? Is it her writing?
It's mostly writing. I think she goes live on it sometimes or something on video, but I subscribe, but I don't pay, so I can't read like any of it. They're all paid.
Okay.
They're all paywalled. Yeah.
You're like, I subscribe, but I don't pay. So I don't know
Yeah,
what
'cause
it is.
at
I'm sure it's great.
at first it wasn't paid. At first you could read the first couple, and then she, good for her, add that paid tier.
Listen, she doesn't need the money, but it's fine. Okay, to our knowledge, to our knowledge.
Exactly.
Okay, so do you have any negative encounters you'd like to share? You're a pretty positive person.
I'll share one interaction, and then I gotta sign off.
Okay.
Angel from Potomac had messaged me
Okay.
ahead of the weekend, and she was like, "Hey, you're gonna be at BravoCon," and I said, "Yeah, like I'd never met her before.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
like would love,
she's brand new.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally." I was like, "Yeah, like and I tweet about the show a lot. Yeah, I'd love to like would love to meet if our paths cross or whatever." And then I had been out at a panel or something and came back to the press room, and she was leaving the press line with
Mhm.
Kiarna. And I was like, "Oh, hey, Angel, like it's me, like Gibson, like you messaged me or whatever." And she was like, "Oh, hey, are you finally gonna be nice to me again? Are you finally gonna be nice to me?" And I was like, "What do you mean? I feel like I've been pretty fair, talking about the show." She's
Mhm.
like, "You've been saying some not so nice things about me." And I said, do you have an example of something you thought was mean? And she was like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
I can't think of any examples." And I was like, "Well, listen, I feel like you're new to the show. I only have the show to go off of when it comes to
Mhm.
you. And I don't think I've been mean about you personally. I really don't think that. If you think that something's been a little shady or, you know, whatever, but again, I go off the show. Like I think about, like I tweeted about the filtered picture, but
Okay. Yeah.
but that was a side by side that the producers put up on that show. I didn't make it myself, right?
Yeah. Right.
So I was like, listen, I listen, I'm happy to have this conversation if you want to have more of it. She was sort of on the go. But just know that I'm one of the nice ones. Okay. So if you
Yeah.
think that I'm being mean, then I don't
You better
know.
you
Because
better toughen up
yeah,
because it's gonna get
I'm like,
worse.
listen, like
Yeah.
I'm pretty fair and I'm pretty like gracious when it comes to these shows. And I think at best at worst I'm like shady. But again, if she's the only person who thinks that, that's great. That's her, that's whatever. But
Mhm.
that was my one interaction that was sort of along those lines. But whatever. It
What are you
is what
gonna
it
do?
is. Yeah, it is
Well,
what it is.
Andy was your rose and Angel was your thorn.
And you know what? I would say that's like kind of like the top and the bottom of the hierarchy when it comes to the weekend. So
Exactly.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes. My podcast is called Gabbing with Gib. It's several times a week. I did daily BravoCon recaps over there. And I'm going to put out all my interviews from the red carpet as a big compilation episode. And then I'll do one more BravoCon episode. I think people are going to be tired of it by the end of the week, but I feel
Yeah.
like there was a lot of post BravoCon drama that I want to sort of follow. So I'll do an episode about that and answer any
Okay.
sort of lingering listener questions on there. And yeah, Gabbing with Gib. We also have an Instagram account where we post clips and memes and all that kind of stuff. So thanks so
Okay.
much for having me as per
Okay.
usual, Mary Payne.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. All right, guys, we're rounding off our Bravo roundup, with Doug. Doug Budin of Jeff Lewis Live, famous in his own right for his salt and his acting career.
Famous?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Doug, being with you at BravoCon, I may as well have been with Andy Cohen. Get mobbed every 4 seconds. You can't even have a conversation.
It is true. It took us a long time at Ben and Ronnie's.
Yeah.
You were telling me a story that could have happened over the course of 2 minutes.
Yes.
I feel like it was 40 minutes by the time we finished our
I kept saying, I'm just trying to finish my story. It's losing its oomph when you have to break it into 12 parts.
No, but you see, that's my acting. See how like the second somebody would walk away, one of your fans or one of the listeners of Jeff's show, I was right back in with you.
Yeah. You're like, and go.
Yeah.
But you did buy me a drink, so I appreciate that.
I did. That was awfully generous. I was very generous over BravoCon weekend. I treated Michael Beck to a roast chicken lunch at the Four Seasons.
Wow.
His roast chicken was $36.75. I
Uh-huh.
bought you and that other gal, not Ingrid, what was
It
her
was
name?
Kristen. It was my social media.
I
Yeah.
got you guys around.
Uh-huh. You
And
did.
and I paid for dinner before Amy Phillips' show at the Hard Rock Cafe. Wow.
Wow, look at you.
That's
Down a co
so
down
unlike me to be so generous.
down a couple $100.
Yeah.
Listen, did you again this year buy your own tickets or did you get
Yeah.
tickets this year? Yeah.
No, I bought my own VIP wristband for Friday and for Saturday, nothing for Sunday. And then, I mean, it was so generous. Jeff Lewis added me on his list for a backstage wristband. And that was, really amazing to be able to just run backstage, see what was going on, and then come back out and sit for all the panels and stuff. But yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
Well, me too. But yeah, I've had on to chat. I've had on a fellow radio Andy, Rachel Smith has been on to discuss. Smith sisters love them so much.
I adore them. I only saw Lauren. I think it was on Friday evening in the Bazaar area, Bazaar, not Bizarre. And I am so fond of all three Smith sisters and Brooke, Lauren's wife, who was there this past weekend too.
Well, I happened to just like walk past them. I've had Mariah on my show before, and I just happened to walk past them and I saw them, and I just did like a little doot doot doot, like walk backwards. I was like, "Hi, sisters," and they're like, "Sister." So, and then Rachel came on to discuss her BravoCon as well, which was like getting everybody's different take is interesting, right? Because your take will be different because you got a backstage where I talked to Gibson and he was press, and my friend Ace was also press. And then Mandy and I are just podcasters that attended as podcasters. So it's been really interesting talking to everybody, getting their thing. Now, I would like to hear your best Bravo Lab encounter. And this I know that you get to know a lot of them. So I'd like to know maybe one that you hadn't met before.
Well, for me, it started on the plane going to.
Oh my God. Yes.
The suite. Did I tell you who was on my plane?
You sent me a picture of one of the people on your plane.
When I walked in, the first person I saw was Teddy Mellencamp, whom I'd never met before. But she definitely, because I get nervous because I tend to fangirl a little bit. Yeah. And I was like, just play cool, play cool. So it just was like just standing there. She smiled and sort of beckoned for me. So then I was like, okay, I'm in. So I went over and I introduced myself. And she, like, although we had never met, she's come on Jeff's show a few times. And obviously Tamara, I know very well. So she knew who I was, and we just were chatting, and she's very friendly. And then while we were sitting there, this woman with like 10 shopping bags and this weird glitter in her hair showed up, and Teddy was like, "Is that Kathy Hilton?" And sure enough, Kathy Hilton was on the flight, but she didn't come sit with us. But then Denise Richards walked in, and she was on our flight. And then Tom Schwartz, Brittany Cartwright, Kristen Doty, baby and husband. And then it turns out,
the baby.
Yeah, with her baby. Somebody else from the Valley. I haven't seen that show yet. So some guy, maybe is there somebody whose name begins with the letter J?
There's Jesse. Jesse.
Maybe Jesse. So that was like going to Vegas. And Denise, I feel very comfortable with because I've done Jeff's show with her for a few times, and she sat next to me. And so we chatted for a little bit, and I was like, okay. So then I got to my hotel, and for this backstage pass, you had to go to the Four Seasons, like their hospitality room, to pick it up at 4 p.m. So I got to the Four Seasons, and in the bar, everybody was there, like having their lunch. It was now probably 4 o'clock, maybe 3:30. So there's Vicky Gunvalson, and I know Vicky obviously very well, so I'm like, ran to Vicky. And then there was this really nice group of gals who were there for a pharmaceutical convention, and they had like the couch in the center. And even though it was only supposed to be for, I guess, Four Seasons guests, they were like, we are not moving. So I sat with them. They treated me to a Diet Coke. Thank you, Rachel, for that. And then I saw Michael Beck, and then so like all these people were there, and so that was also thrilling. Then I went to the hospitality room, and who is online behind me but Heather Gay, whom I've never met. Okay. And so I had her go in front. I was like, "You're a little more important than me," so she went first. But she and I chatted, and she was very cool and gracious and fun, and we talked about being in line versus being online, because that's a New Yorker, I guess, thing that I grew up in. So we were just like, that's what we were chatting about. So I was already, by the time I just got my backstage thing and then went to Amy Phillips' show, I felt like I had already seen enough, so that was amazing. And then throughout the weekend, I met a lot of people. Katie Janella,
from OC,
from OC, who was absolutely stunning. She came over and introduced herself to me. And I saw Fraser. I mean, I saw everybody. And Jennifer Pedranti and Ryan, I saw them backstage, and we chatted. We had a really, really fun dinner once in New York. And it was a highlight for me to meet Melissa and Joe Gorga. I signed up for a photo op with them. And I bought Melissa's sprinkle cookies, but I'd never met her. And she and Joe have done Jeff's show a few times.
Yeah.
But I never met them.
How are the sprinkle cookies, sidebar?
Her sprinkle cookies are legit delicious.
Okay.
They were shipped across country. I paid, I used code Jeff or whatever it was. They came like 5 days later. They were legitimately delicious cookies. Highly recommend.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So they were friendly and fun and cool. And then I saw Dolores and Polly, and I had signed up for a photo op with them, and I saw them like backstage also, and just I get the warmest feelings from them. Truly amazing.
Dolores, everybody has the most amazing things to say about Dolores always.
I agree. I was saying that to Shane Douglas this morning, like, or it was to Ryan Bailey. I saw Ryan today. Everybody has that story about Dolores, that they have this special feeling and this special relationship. And isn't that just the greatest testament to her, that everybody you meet who has met Dolores comes out saying what an incredible person she is. I truly can't say enough about how great she makes me feel.
Yeah. Okay. Now, did you sit at any panels besides, like, if you were going to see like what Jeff was doing? Did you sit on any panels?
Oh yeah, we went to the Valley panel. The very first one.
Yeah, I went to the Valley, and I think I was texting you. Are you here?
Yeah, I was there. I was at the Valley panel. I went to all 3 panels that Jeff did. We went to part of a below deck, which there was one that we had to leave early for our photo op, and now I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't Salt Lake City. I went to probably 5 panels though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I just went to a few, and it's sort of like in the moment, if you're doing something else, you're like, oh, you got to leave and go to this panel, and you don't really want to. I went to the Southern Charm panel, which is kind of interesting because you could really tell, and I don't know if you've ever watched Southern Charm, but you could sort of tell.
Watch it at the beginning.
Yeah. So you could really tell between Craig and Austin that there's really no good feelings there. You could really tell that it was very tense. Something has happened between the two of them. And, it wouldn't be a BravoCon if we didn't have a drunk Shep story. So, those came out,
I saw that video of him talking I don't know. Who is he talking to about Craig?
My understanding from my friend Mandy was that in the video with him was a guy that was from Southern Hospitality, which I haven't watched. And he was sort of kind of like, okay, like he was just talking to some listeners or watchers.
That's what I was asking.
Viewers.
Like, strangers?
Just some Bravo fans. And that's what he did 2 years ago, where he got in so much trouble. He was just mouthing off, but being very aggressive towards strangers. Now, I had a 2022 interaction with him at BravoCon in New York, where he basically, felt me up. He was like all over me. Yeah.
Really?
Not because he was like trying to pick me up, just because he was like kind of passed out in a booth, and he had a friend that was trying to like get him up, and he's really big to be passed out in a booth.
They're
And
all those Southern Charm guys, Craig, Austin,
yeah,
like when you walk into the room, you see them first because they are a full head.
They're tall
of everybody else.
And these girls at the bar were saying, "Ooh, I'm kind of dying to meet Shep." I was like, "That guy that's like slovenly passed out in a booth," but all right. I'll go over there. So, I went over there. These are like young girls. So I walked over and was like, "Hello, excuse me. These girls want to meet." He's like, "Okay." And then I just started talking to him about a shared love for Bald Head Island in North Carolina, where we have a house and he's friends with the guy that owns a store there. And so I was kind of just like, okay, well, it's nice to meet you. Just get a picture, whatever. But he went full in, like arms around me, like all, I mean, the pictures I have are not cute. Because it's me going like,
Yeah, of course.
So I think he gets a talking to every BravoCon, and I think he shapes up for a little bit, but then What'd you say? What a shame.
Well, it is. It's just a shame. Like, you want everybody, you just want everybody to have like an amazing experience. And so if he made it uncomfortable for anybody else, or even just for him, like if you're at a point where, last time he had to be escorted out or whatever, I think he was drunk or something. It's like, I'm also much older. And so I feel like at my age, you just, you don't want to be associated with that.
Yes, agree. And that's probably like younger people, like, it's fun. I'm like, he is in his 40s. He's not like that young, but
right. Even 40s is young.
Yeah. Well, to me too, Well, did you have any interactions that were uncomfortable, or did you witness anything that you found was like unsavory or
other than Jeff's panels? No, I don't think so. I think I had just an enchanted weekend. I was with a really, really good friend of mine that I don't get to see in person very often.
Yeah.
And we had the best time. I mean, we did go off campus to go to the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere.
Yeah, how was that? Because I wanted to go, but nobody would go with me.
It was great. I mean, it's different from seeing the Wizard of Oz, like, but they created it. The whole thing is 75 minutes, and they've added a lot of extra stuff to the tornado. And, these apples drop from the ceiling when the apple trees are throwing apples at Dorothy and gang. Yeah. And these foam kind of little apples. The woman next to me got 2 of them. And then somebody told me that those sell for like $150 each. Now I really should have pulled one out of her hand, but it was a great experience. And from BravoCon, you could just walk. Unfortunately, it was pouring, and so we were absolutely soaking wet by the time we got there. But for me, there was no. What do they say? A thorn, rose and thorn. There were no thorns. Everything, and I thought that the staff, like the people who were working at BravoCon, everybody was friendly. Everybody was just like in a good mood. So I didn't have a single negative experience.
Well, you probably didn't buy any of the Bravo Paloozas, the little small rooms where you can go in and you have.
No, I didn't buy any add-ons. Like, I was spending enough money. I thought.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. Well, 2 years ago, we had a Bravo Palooza every day. And this year we just got the one, and that was fine. But it is nice.
Who was in yours?
So I had Sutton and Marisol and Alexia, 2 Summer House guys that I didn't know. And now I don't watch Mary DeMette. I mean, I used to, but I haven't watched it in years. But Dr. Contessa and her husband were in there, and we didn't know who they were. They were literally just sort of sitting, hanging out by us. So we became like buddies with them, took a picture. They couldn't have, I was like, if I ever want somebody on, I think she would definitely remember, because she was like showing me a picture, like, I'm supposed to change dresses. Do you think I should change for my panel? Should I wear this? Should I keep this on? I was like, well, a lot of people have a picture with you in this. Maybe you should change. And they were great.
Are you just, because I actually don't know anything about the Bravo Paloozas. That's like a separate room, not the VIP lounge. It was in its own space.
Yes.
And is it just like a small cocktail party?
Yes, because they give you 2 drink tickets when you walk in, and they have pass apps the whole time.
Oh, okay.
And, the Bravo celebrities, they do have these little, like, mini step and repeats that they're kind of supposed to step on, and then you line up-ish. But, like, also Jesse from the Valley was mingling around, um, and then Brielle Bierman and Gia Giudice were in there, and they did the little step and repeat for a bit, but then they just sort of mingled around.
Yeah.
Lisa Barlow came in.
Oh, cool.
She wasn't mingling, but Marisol came in and just went directly to a corner and sat in a chair. And she was not to be bothered to stand on a step and repeat or mingle. So I went right over because Marisol is probably one of my favorite housewives of all time. And when she walked in, Ingrid's like, "It's happening. Your favorite is here." I was like, "What?" So I just went over and sat.
Do you not know before? Is that true? You don't know?
No, you don't know. It could be a room full of people you've never heard of, but generally, from our experience last year, we knew it would be a good mix of housewives, Married to Med, Below Deck, A Southern Charm, Summer House shows. So some shows you watch and some shows you don't, but you're going to get a few housewives.
And so when you're buying your Bravo Palooza, you're choosing based on when it is versus who would be okay.
Yeah, you have no idea who. Idea who. And it is a very small room. And so I think they only have maybe the whole room is probably like 100 people total. Yeah.
All right. So that's a good ratio.
Yeah. I mean, you could get to the bar, you can get your drinks, and then they don't take your drink tickets. You could get 6 drinks if you want, but it's only an hour and 15 minutes.
An hour 15?
Mm-hmm. So in that room, we felt 2 years ago, it was extremely unorganized and people didn't know where to stand. And then people are getting mad. And it's like, and you're in a small room like that and people are getting tense because they want this picture or whatever. This year was way more organized. And there was this one guy staff that was running around that looked like his hair was on fire. I mean, and so I said at the end, Ingrid and I said, "We're concerned. Are you okay? Like your blood pressure's got to be very high. Like we're concerned." He's like, "What?" So I ended up talking to him and he was so great. And he said, the thing about these events is they can at the last minute decide not to come. They can say, "I'm hungover, I'm tired," and they don't have to come. So I think that the goal is to have, 10 Bravo Lebs in there. And there's 2 rooms, there's Diamonds and Rose, and they sort of rotate them in and out. So like Lisa Barlow wasn't in our room the whole time, and neither Sutton or Marisol were not in our room the whole time. So they rotate them. So I think that if they don't have enough people to rotate, then that was making him stressed because he was trying to explain it to us. But I was like, "Well, you're doing a great job." I was like, "We did do this 2 years ago when this is way more organized." And he was very happy to hear our feedback. But yeah, they passed around delicious apps, way better than the VIP lounge, which doesn't pass around as many apps as they pretend to.
I was offered one app in that VIP lounge, which was like a shrimp something shooter. And I thought,
I had one like veggie spring roll, and I had one little polenta with a short rib on top that was delicious.
I just thought of my thorn.
Okay.
Diet Pepsi.
Agree.
Not for me. That was the biggest thorn of the whole weekend, was that I couldn't get a Diet Coke at any of the Caesars properties or Paris or whatever. That was horrendous for me.
I agree. Every time you go and like, "Can I get a Diet Coke?" And then when they start to go, "Is Diet," you're going to, nope, Diet Pepsi is not okay.
A lot of them no, because I would say, like, I remember the first time at Caesars and then the first time at Paris, because I didn't realize that they were owned by all by Caesars.
Yeah.
And she goes, "It's Diet Pepsi."
And you're like, "I'll take a tea."
That's what I said. I said, "I'll have a tea or sparkling water."
Yeah.
But the Four Seasons had Diet Coke.
Of course it did. Did anybody have Diet Dr. Pepper? Because that's my favorite.
Oh, no, but I have that in my fridge.
It's so good.
When you come to my house, Mary Payne, I give you your choice of still or sparkling water.
Okay.
And then I have those mini cans of Diet Coke or ginger ale or Diet Dr. Pepper.
I mean, what is Sophie's choice? There's so many good choices.
I'm over.
What I choose. I was in LA. I was in LA for 3 days before BravoCon.
Oh, wait, you said you went to Vegas from LA.
Yeah, I did. We flew in and I recorded with Heather at her house, McDonald, and then I also went out to the OC and saw two friends, Kate Casey, another podcaster, and
Oh,
Kimberly. Yeah, and then Kimberly from A Date with Dateline also lives out in the OC. So I've never been to the OC, so I was like, let's go see what's happening out there. We took a picture in front of the Quiet Woman.
Woman, of course.
I asked Kate, I was like, will you go inside and lick the window and let me take a picture? And she said, no. I was like, can I pretend? She's like, do not do it. But I had never been to the OC. Wow. What a way to live there in the OC, huh?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
gorgeous.
There's a lot of towns in the OC. Like
we were in Newport.
Oh, it's beautiful. I had only recently, maybe 2 years ago with Monica Casey, walked around the actual town of Newport, and it was beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, really, really nice.
And my friend Kimberly actually is from Dana Point, which I guess is more south, but she came up, and I got to go to Kate Casey's house and see all 5 of her kids.
Oh my God, she doesn't like cheese.
I think that's right.
Kate Casey, she doesn't like cheese because we've talked about cooking kibbutz before, and she's like, yeah, I don't eat cheese. I was like, well, I can't.
I don't understand that, but that's okay. Look, to each his own. Maybe that's why she's like thin. I don't know. I got to hang out with Ryan quite a bit. Did you guys do Jeff from there?
I didn't. Jeff did. No, Ryan didn't do it either. Jeff did one show on Friday. Well, 2 hours. The second hour was Lisa Barlow. The first hour was 2 housewives. With Marisol and Alexia.
Amazing.
That was the first hour, and the second hour was Lisa Barlow. Well, Sirius has an actual studio at the Wynn Hotel.
Wow.
And so Radio Andy, and I remember last BravoCon, Radio Andy had zero integration. They didn't take any part of it. Yeah. This year, Radio Andy set up a full day of live programming. And so Julia Cunningham was there. She did her show. I'm assuming Kiki did Reality Check, but maybe not. But the Smith sisters were live. And so all the Radio Andy hosts were able to do a show out of the Wynn studio. And then Jameson was there to help produce. And I forget who else went from Radio Andy. I know Lisa from New York was there. She's the boss. And then, they were also able to do, and Andy was able, Andy didn't go live. He didn't do Andy Cohen live, but they were able to be on the red carpet in that media room and have tons of interviews. So they were able to put together like full programming, from the red carpet, in addition to having the shows on Radio Andy. So I thought it was great that they were there.
Poor Jameson, he just work. And I saw him, he looked tired.
Yeah, he works a lot, and he was in that media room. He was interviewing people, but also he has to cut together all those things. And it was like a short staff, so he just was super busy. And he was staying at the Venetian, which had no water on.
Somebody told me that they didn't have water. She's like, I'm trying to wash my hair to come to BravoCon. I couldn't even barely brush my teeth.
On Friday, their water got shut off at 6:22 a.m., I think. Oh. And it didn't come on until 4:30 p.m. So I think today on the radio, Jameson was saying he was like, well, I have to go to the bathroom. So he was like, I'm not waiting for everybody to go over to the Wynn together. I'm going now.
Yeah.
He had to use.
You can't flush the toilet. Oh my God, what a nightmare!
Because I was at Caesars, which is close enough to where BravoCon was, and I said if you need, just call, let me know, text me, and I'll walk over to the hotel with you. But he was fine because obviously they had facilities, at BravoCon, so he was fine.
Oh my gosh, Jameson in his bathroom.
Poor Jameson.
Oh, well, anybody staying at the Venetian, that's crazy.
Yeah. And a lot of people do. I mean, well, beyond just BravoCon, obviously the Venetian has thousands of rooms. So
yeah. Ooh, that's kind of a nightmare for a Vegas hotel.
Yeah.
That rain was crazy too. You guys, you don't understand. It doesn't rain in Vegas, and at that time, it rained for 2 days straight. So, Ryan and I had our event together, and it was a very low turnout. And I just said, anybody, I could understand. You have to walk from all the way down there, down to Hard Rock. which was close to the MGM Grand. I was like, it's like, almost a mile. And sheets of rain, streets flooded situation.
Not only because of that, like, yes, all the streets were flooded. Getting around was a disaster. On top of that, because of the F1, which is, I think, a lot of the roads are and entrance ways are closed. Even just getting across the street is difficult.
Yes.
And then on top of that, you had a lot of people, including my friend George, whose flights had been canceled.
Right.
And so George's flight into Vegas was canceled, and his flight out of Vegas was canceled. So instead of flying home on Sunday, he had to fly Saturday night. So because he was supposed to be with me on Saturday night at Ben and Ronnie's the other day I saw you, but he had to get to the airport to fly home. Otherwise, because he was flying back east, you lose a whole day when you're flying. And so he couldn't wait until Sunday night or Monday. So I think the turnout was because of this motion at my front door. The turnout is because I think all of those things made it impossible for
impossible. It was 40 minutes for us to get from Paris down to Hard Rock Cafe, and it's
just my mail carrier.
I see him. Yeah, it was only 0.9 miles, but I was trying to look cute. I wasn't trying to be like a drowned rat for my own event.
Wasn't gonna happen.
I
was smoking.
But we both saw Amy Phillips' show, which was great.
You went Saturday? No, you went Saturday. I went Thursday.
I would encourage anybody ever, if Amy Phillips is in your town and she does a cabaret, it's she's so creative. I'm always impressed with people.
I was talking with her on the phone, she is one of the greatest performers, all of the improv and all of her acting and just, it is such an incredible skill, and she's so gifted. And I know people say I'd watch somebody read the phone book. I get it with Amy. I just feel like whatever she tries to do is going to work.
She came I guess it was this year. I can't even we did a podcast movement, and I was on a panel. And so I invited her to come to the panel, because the panel that we usually do has a lot of reality TV podcasters. Let's get a Bravo person. Let me see if Amy wants to come. So she came and did the panel, which was so fun. And so at the beginning of the panel, they say, just go down the line and tell us about your podcast before they start the questions. And, I have a podcast. You tell the thing. Amy gets a microphone, takes her microphone and starts walking around the stage. Let me tell you. And I was so the rest of us were okay, well, we cover TLC. We're pretty boring. But she's just always so funny. So that's always a highlight. Let me tell you, my biggest highlight really is just seeing my friends. I have so many pictures with my friends, that I would be somewhere, but I bet Doug is here. Oh, I bet Ryan is here. I bet Miguel is here. I'm just looking around for my people.
I kept looking for you. I finally found you. And so I called you, and you didn't. I watched you not answer your phone. So I took a video from where I was standing of you, and I just zoomed in on you and texted it to you just to show I can see you. You're standing about 30 feet away from me, but it was so loud and crazy.
Yes, that stage was loud. We were in line to do the traders pictures.
I didn't want. George wanted to do that. I got uncomfortable about putting on those robes
because they touched so many other people's heads.
Speaking of which, tangent. Yeah. Okay. Did you do the Dorinda Instacart integration thing where you posed in Bluestone Manor? Did you do that?
No.
Okay, so George and I did that. And there are these two armchairs. One had Teresa's picture, one had Dorinda's picture, and you sit in front of them. Mm-hmm. And they're plates of desserts, and you can hold them up, and one is gingerbread cookies or whatever. And as you're leaving, they give you a shopping bag.
Yes.
The shopping bag had a cookie cutter and a box of Oreo.
I got the bag, but I didn't do the integration.
Okay, well.
Because you know me.
It turns out everybody who had that Oreo stuff in their carry-on, it had to go through a secondary screening at the airport. People who had it in their carry-on, I got so many DMs from people, probably 30 DMs.
Really?
From people who said they had to get, it had to be screened or swabbed. And I guess there was something that happened this past weekend somewhere else where something nefarious was packed in like a gluten-free baking thing. And so all baked good products or whatever were flagged, and they stopped and they had to go through your bag.
Well, I only brought back the whisk and the spatula. I left the other stuff in the room.
I gave mine away. I was like, I don't even want it. So I kept the cookie cutter, but I gave away the box of pre-mixed dough, whatever that was.
Yeah. That is so funny because I left it I was, packing the next morning and like all this swag everywhere, like, from Margaret Joseph's soiree party. There was some good stuff in there. I kept all that. That was all like makeup stuff and a can of soiree and all that. Yes, and I got that as well. The little
What is this from? I traded my boxed thing for this.
Okay, that is from outside where the stage was, where the DJs were happening. That outside stage.
Oh yeah, the Bravo Insiders Jack.
Yeah. It's it was called like Heat and Fire, Cold and Ice, something like that. And you literally screenshot the QR code. Of course, you have to put your email in. And then a thing would pop up and you'd scratch it, pretend with your finger, and it would it'd be a picture of Andy and you won and you got that. There was no I love a trivia. I wanted a trivia question. I wanted to prove that I could win, but there wasn't a trivia question. It was just Andy's face popped up and you got that.
Okay. Well, I love that. I'm going to use that. I love those bags for all my charger cables. That's where I keep everything organized.
I like a fanny pack like that to wear crossbody when I walk the dogs for treats. Even you don't have pockets. They're very good. They're crossbody. That's kind of a tiny one for crossbody. I don't know. It would just go around my neck. Maybe it wouldn't.
Last time I bought a tote bag, and I feel like I bought something, maybe a battery, like for your phone, maybe something. Yeah. This year I bought, because my friend's flight was canceled and he was supposed to come to Amy's show, I bought some Amy Phillips swag and
good
on my friend George's bed for when he arrived.
That was nice.
Yeah. And you got to meet George.
I did. He was lovely. We chatted a little bit because I had my 21C's branded bag from Pink Shade from last year.
Oh, that was my mother who just called, but she hung up. So
maybe it was a butt dial.
Yeah.
We were just discussing our elderly parents.
If my mom calls back, though, I do have to answer.
Okay, I understand. Yeah. She is 89 years old.
She is my mother.
She is your mother, as we say in the South, your mother. Well, Doug, if you don't have anything negative to tell me, then
you know that it's difficult for me to. The only negative thing was the Diet Coke. I think that was it. And
that's a big one.
Even like when I checked out, they charged me $59.90 for the mini bar, but I didn't take or touch that mini bar. So, but when I went, I tried to check out on the app, but you couldn't like fight the charge. They're like, call us after. I was like, nuh-uh. So I went down to the front desk and I said, mini bar. And the woman was like, okay. Like she removed it right away. There were no issues. I was like slightly insulted by the woman who seated me to breakfast at the Cafe American or whatever it was called at Caesars, when she was bringing me to a table and then she stopped in the middle and she goes, you may be more comfortable at the bar since you're all alone. And I was like, okay. And so I sat at the bar. That was it. She wasn't unfriendly. And I don't mind sitting at the bar. I have nothing bad to say.
Well, I'm not trying to get you to say something bad. It's just sometimes you might have like a rude interaction with a Bravo Leb or something. And
nobody was rude. Everybody was fun. And I kept my cool, like when I hugged Joe Gorga and when Fraser ran, like we were backstage and he was about to go do something. He ran over, he said, Doug, and we hugged and then he ran away. And I was just like I can be cool.
Yeah, you can be cool. That's fun. Cool.
Yeah.
You're so funny. Joe Gorga, very short, huh?
Short, but generous of spirit. Is that right? Is that what I want to say?
Short in stature, tall in personality. How about that?
Yes, and just a warm and friendly guy. And, I didn't feel rushed by anybody. Margaret Josephs, I saw Margaret very briefly, but there are and I never saw Gen Fest, so we were texting, but
everybody had every single person had nice things to say about Jen Fessler. Every person that came across her had nice things to say.
She's absolutely a doll. And the gal that was there running her F major booth for the shoes, her name was Megan. She was really nice. I went over and said hello to her. So yeah, I just thought like everybody got the assignment, and I didn't see anybody, like arguing or giving anybody a hard time either, and I just was like sitting alone for much of the time, especially backstage. I'm just watching everybody have their little, mini reunions with each other, and that juxtaposition of being in this utilitarian corridor where all the workers are pushing their carts, and there's so much behind the scenes catering action happening, and at the exact same time watching these glam squads touch up these women and fix their sequins. That to me was like an amazing sight to see, just the surrounding of the talent with their coif and their fixing while somebody's like pushing the trays. I thought that was just a great symbol, of what was happening.
You could have gotten an artsy photo of that, with somebody getting their glam done with it.
I took a video. It's on my Instagram at Doug Budin.
Okay.
The last thing on my thing from BravoCon.
Okay. Because that would be interesting too, because you getting to go backstage that's a pretty rare.
That was a game changer. Like, and because since my friend George didn't have that, like I didn't want to go, spend too much time. I did want to make sure I was with Jeff before his panels and stuff. So George and I would save seats, and then I said, let me run backstage. I'll be right back. So I would just go for like 10-minute spurts.
And then you would encourage him to say terrible, offensive things.
No, never.
I was like, we're going to blame it all on Doug. There we go. I just figured it all out. You guys, it's Doug's fault.
Whatever it is, my fault. Sure.
Sure. As Doug said, you guys can always find Doug at Doug Budin. He appears on Jeff Lewis Live, and he also on Thursday has Cook and Kibitz, where he has people over to cook in his kitchen.
Yeah, and we kibitz.
One day, it'll be me.
I can't wait. I'll have to, so I guess I'll wait.
You'll have to wait.
Whenever you can.
I'll be back in LA probably next year.
Okay, well, you'll come.
I think once a year is good for me to come to LA and do a little schmooze around the area.
Plus, I have a gorgeous guest room.
I've heard. You've told me.
The bed has the remote control where it goes up and down, and then the bathroom has a Toto.
Well, why would I even leave? I would just stay in that guest room.
Come stay. I would love to have you.
Amazing. Don't hang up, you guys. Make sure you're following at Doug Budin, and you're my last recap, Doug. We're closing out BravoCon.
Disappointment.
Not a disappointment. We're closing it out. BravoCon 2025 over.
Out.
Bye.